Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. We are pleased to be joined by Felix Rosenqvist, of course, who will be driving the number 6 Chevrolet for Arrow McLaren. How's it going?
Good, man. Just woke up, ready for the day.
Nice. So just talk about, you were at the Thermal Club last week with all the Indy cars for the annual test. How was it?
Oh, it's great to be back, man. It's been such a long off season, like always in IndyCar. You spend so many weeks and months just, picturing yourself what it's going to be like to be in the car again. And it's weird. Like, I think it's one of the few series and sports, to be honest, in the world where you're away for that long and you start, you almost forget what it is to drive. Like, obviously when you jump in it feels the same again, but it's during that period you're like, yeah, it's like playing golf and then half of the year you don't play golf and then you go back. Like, it's weird. You have some cobwebs, you feel a bit rusty, but then after a couple of laps you're back in it. But yeah, I thought it was good. We as a team we've expanded quite a lot. We have Rossi on board now with the third car, the 7 car, and I'm on the 6 car this year. So quite a lot of big changes, a lot of new faces in the paddock and on the travel team, also at the shop. So yeah, the team has undergone big changes, but I think that's exciting, and it's never an easy thing to do either. But I think it's gone really well so far, and I thought all the 3 cars were, on the second day, we all felt pretty happy with how it went down.
So going into this season, you mentioned, of course, adding the third team, and of course, you're going to the 6 car this year. Just overall, just talk about getting used to, I don't know how many new guys are with you this year, but overall, what's it like to get used to all of them?
I mean, actually, on my lineup, it's fairly similar to last year. So what used to be the 7 car, it's now the 6 car, yeah. And I have a new engineer, Chris Lawrence, who I've known for, I think it's probably 4 years now. I actually knew him before I joined the team, so he's actually the team member I've known for the longest. So it feels very natural to work with him as my race engineer. He's a good friend, and we get along really well. So really exciting to have him on board with the team. Apart from that, man, it's a few changes, but the base, like the core foundation of the group, is the same, and I think that's really exciting for me to have a third year in a row, kind of building on what was a difficult situation in 21, and then we built it up last year and kind of got our stuff together, and now for a third year I feel like we're going to be really strong. So that's how I feel the whole 6 car. It has that kind of feeling and mentality. We're ready to do some real damage this year.
Yeah. So going to 3 teams, and of course you guys really impressed at the Thermal Club. What's it like just getting, I know you and Pato have been teammates for a while, but what's it like having Alexander Rossi now in the fold?
It's been great so far. He's a guy who I think he knows what he wants from the team and the car, and he's come from a lot of success with Andretti previously. He's a Indy 500 winner and a multiple race winner. So we're really pumped to have him on board, and I think especially for Thermal, we were excited to hear what his thoughts were on the Chevy engine, the setup of the car. We know for a fact that our setup is very different from what he's used to. But I think he did a really good job adapting and getting up to speed quickly. And he thought, I think actually he was probably the happiest after the second day. So I don't think that adaptation process was very difficult for him. And he's fun to be around. We've spent quite a lot of time now, me, him, and Pato. We've done some filming days and 2 test days and some other stuff, a couple of dinners and traveling together and so on. And I feel like the dynamic between us is really good, to be honest. And that's kind of, me and Pato, there's no hiding that we have a very strong friendship, and and I think Alex is definitely, he's definitely blending into that whole vibe, and so does the whole team, so that's important for us, that we can all be on the same page and work together, and then end of the day, may the best man win.
This is the third year you're with this team. What has it been like since you talked about the progression when you got there in 21, and then you guys are just keeping on building, of course, this year. How do you feel like entering in your third year? What's it going to be like this season in 2023?
It's a great feeling, man. It's one of the few times in my career that I have, the opportunity to be in the same or a better situation for a third year in a row. I've historically I've been around in a lot of different series, a lot of different teams, and it's always been kind of a blur. A lot of new people to work with all the time, and as I said before, just to have the same core group working on my car, that's huge for me, and I think it's a great opportunity. It's something that I need. I think you can always, I mean, you can be competitive, but to win championships and so on, you need to build that group, especially in IndyCar. I think it's a very specific type of championship where you need to have a tight group with the pit stops, with the, all the car changes that goes on. It's very important that you have those relationships built up. And I definitely feel like I have that, and they're just growing every season. So yeah, to continue for a third year, man, it's absolutely huge for me.
Obviously the schedule is going to look pretty much the same from last year. Obviously, Detroit's going to change, of course. Being going from the island to downtown. I know from living here in Michigan, I know a lot of people are excited about going downtown. How excited are you to race in downtown Detroit this year?
Oh, it's exciting. I think it's cool that IndyCar is trying to improve, and obviously the venue is trying to improve and change and make what's best for the spectators and the show. I have no idea how the track layout looks, except from the dual pit lane.
Yeah.
That looks very interesting. But yeah, I mean, if it's fun, we'll see. But I think it's a huge thing that we're downtown Detroit, and that's effectively the recipe that's been working really well for like St. Pete, Toronto, other street courses that you attract more people when you get closer to the heart of the city, and it's also a bigger deal and just adds value to the whole event.
Yeah. So looking at the schedule right now, you have, of course, starting off in St. Pete, starting off with, of course, you got Barber, Long Beach, Texas was right there. Out of these first few races, what do you want to see out of the 6 team as the first few races? Like, this is where we kind of need to be after like 4 or 5 races before we head into Indy.
Well, I think it's important to have a smooth start. It's not super important to set crazy goals that you can't achieve for the first race. I don't think there's any win in doing that. Obviously, we know what we can do now. We had some really good success last year. We had a couple of poles. We had the podium in Toronto, and we just want to step up on that. Kind of look at everything and improve a little bit here and there. It's not about massive gains anymore, and it never is when you're in the sort of top 10 area of such a competitive championship. You can't find like 0.3 of a second just doing a small thing, but you need to look at the little details, the pit stops, the strategy, and that's what we've been doing. To be honest, we haven't really gone crazy trying to make the car like 0.5 quicker, because I don't think we can make the car 0.5 quicker, but maybe 1 or 2. The others will also find maybe 1 or 2 tenths. So you just have to follow the progression of the field, and I mean, mistakes are the easiest way, or not doing mistakes is the easiest way to put yourself into contention, right? So there's a big emphasis on just trying to make the operation smooth, especially when there's some new people on the team, and just get into the groove, man. I think if you can get through the first 2 races without any big setup back sets, you're good for the season.
Yeah. And lastly, what track are you most looking forward to this year?
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to all of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Texas is one track. It's funny actually because I dreamt tonight that I won Texas, and I've been leading that race so many times, and there's always been something happening, and it's probably one of my, I'd probably say the strongest track for me. So yeah, that it would be cool to come back to Texas and do some real damage on that one.
All right. Well, Felix Rosenqvist, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck this season.
Thank you, man. It was good to be here.